Fastenal's initial public offering was a huge milestone for the company, something the founders never could have imagined back when they were setting up shop and struggling to turn a profit. But as important as the IPO was, it was by no means the end of the story. It was just another chapter, with many more to follow. To give you a sense of how far we've come, in 1987, the year we went public, Fastenal's annual sales were just over $20 million. Today, with annual sales of well over $3 billion, or nearly $15 million per day, it now takes us less than a day and a half to hit that milestone. How did we get here? From all the way back there? Let's take a journey along the timeline, starting with our first full year as a public company, 1988. We began that year with around 260 employees and 58 stores, all clustered in the Great Lakes region. We were still settling into our new headquarters at 2001 Thurr Boulevard, home to our corporate offices and the Winona distribution hub. Our only other distribution center was in Indianapolis, and this had just been relocated from a small rented building to a larger facility. 1 year later, in 1989, we opened our third DC in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to support new and future stores in the East. In 1990, we added a new level of sales leadership, regional managers, today known as RVPs, to lead our district managers. We also introduced computer equipment in all of our stores, providing sales, inventory, and product information that was previously only available via phone or fax. To keep pace with our expanding market horizons, our fourth distribution center went live in January of 1992. This one located in Dallas, Texas. Our stock price was rising so quickly that we executed a 2-for-3 stock dividend in 1988, a 2-for-1 stock split in 1990, and another 2-for-1 stock split in 1992. And we were included in Forbes' listing of the 200 best small companies in America every year from 1987 to 1992. We would go on to earn that distinction for another 5 years before finally becoming too big to qualify. Bob Kierland's focus on adding 30% more stores every year was producing a snowball effect. In just 5 years, we'd expanded from 75 stores in the Midwest to 200 stores in 29 states, from just over $30 million in sales to more than $80 million, and from 275 employees to nearly 900. One of the few constants was that Fastenal remained almost exclusively a nuts and bolts company. That too began to change in 1993 when we opened a handful of experimental tool and safety branches. Known as Fast Tool stores, these were separate buildings adjacent to existing Fastenal stores. As it turned out, customers didn't really like having to go through 2 doors and deal with 2 invoices. What they did like was being able to get everything they needed from Fastenal. Within 3 years, all new Fastenal stores would be stocked with a core offering of not only fasteners, tools, and safety items, but also many other product concepts. Following the path of store expansion, we opened 5 distribution centers in successive years: Atlanta, Georgia in 1993, Kent, Washington in 94, Fresno, California in 95, Akron, Ohio in 96, and Salt Lake City, Utah in 1997. In 1994, we began construction of the current manufacturing facility at 1801 Thurr Boulevard. It was also the year we opened our first non-U.S. stores, 2 locations in Canada. 1995 was the year we started our national accounts program. We also executed another 2-for-1 stock split. Fastenal.com went live in 1996, and the first Big Blue catalog hit the streets in 1997. This was also the year that Bob Kierland published The Power of Fastenal People, documenting the people-oriented practices that fueled Fastenal's success. By the time the dust settled on this half-decade of spectacular growth, our employee count had grown from just under 1,200 to more than 4,000 employees. Our sales had increased from roughly $110 million to $404 million. And our store count had expanded from 253 to 642, with locations in all of the lower 48 states as well as Canada and Puerto Rico. We continued to aggressively invest, grow, and create opportunities in the coming years. The Fastenal School of Business was established in 1998, a major breakthrough in the drive to develop our people. That same year, we opened 2 new distribution centers in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Kansas City, Missouri, giving us a total of 11 DCs across the country. Believe it or not, up to this point, all the regional managers still worked in Winona headquarters. That began to change in the late 90s, and by the end of 2000, nearly all had relocated to the regions they led, a move in line with Fastenal's decentralized business model. Over the course of 2000 and 2001, we added manufacturing facilities within our Modesto and Indianapolis hubs, the first Fastenal manufacturing facilities outside of Winona. 2001 was a big year for new store openings. We opened our first store location in Mexico, in the industrial city of Monterrey. With the support of a large customer, we also opened a branch in Singapore, our first location in Asia. And our openings in Alaska and Hawaii gave us stores in all 50 states. The Hawaiian store opening was especially noteworthy because it was Fastenal store number 1000. In 2001, the Customer Service Project was born, transforming our stores and our marketing focus. Another major change took place when Will Overton was named Fastenal's president in 2001 and also CEO in 2002. Overton's rise from warehouse worker to CEO was a shining example of Fastenal's commitment to promote from within. It was a new era for Fastenal, but those looking for continuity found it when we executed yet another 2-for-1 stock split, a fitting end to another 5 years of strong growth. From 1998 to 2002, we opened more than 400 stores, hired more than 2,500 people, and tacked on nearly $400 million in annual sales. The theme for the next few years was international expansion. In 2003, we opened a distribution center in Kitchener, Ontario, our first hub outside the U.S. We also introduced our Fastco Global Trading Company. At the time, Fastco was just 12 people working in a small office in Shanghai. But their presence gave us a new level of control over our supply chain. In 2004, we opened our first store in China. That same year, we made our first step into Europe by opening a store in the Netherlands. Slowly but surely, we were beginning to paint the world blue. 2005 was a watershed year for distribution. The percentage of stores receiving 5-day-a-week truck service rose from 15% to 85%. We also began our Indianapolis hub inventory expansion, expanding the number of in-stock SKUs from 28,000 to more than 150,000 by 2008. Both projects had the same end result: better, faster service for our customers. We executed yet another 2-for-1 stock split. And in 2006, Will Overton was named Morningstar's CEO of the Year. Bob Kierlin later remarked that this was the ultimate validation of his belief in the power of Fastenal people. In 2007, we expanded our global operations by opening 2 quality testing labs in Asia, one in Taiwan and one in China. 2007 was also the year we introduced the Pathway to Profit initiative, slowing down the rate of store openings and investing more heavily in existing stores. That said, we were still opening plenty of stores, including one in Seattle, Washington, that opened its doors for business on April 12, 2007, becoming Fastenal store number 2000. On November 28, Fastenal turned 40, and company leaders celebrated the anniversary by ringing the NASDAQ opening bell. Those who were banking on the big blue machine to slow down in the new millennium would be sorely disappointed. From 2003 to 2007, we added nearly 850 stores and more than 5,000 employees, and our annual sales more than doubled, surpassing the $2 billion threshold. In 1967, when Bob Kierlin set out to start the business, the plan was to dispense supplies out of vending machines. Well, it took 41 years, but that basic vision finally came to reality in 2008 with the rollout of our industrial vending program. Within a few short years, vending became one of our most important growth drivers. Like every company, we were hit hard by the Great Recession, but our solid financial position enabled us to continue making wise investments to support our future growth. In 2008, we completed our first ASRS implementation in Denton, Texas, and we began a similar but much larger implementation in our Indianapolis hub. Several more warehouse automation projects would follow, and even more are planned for the years ahead, enabling us to fill orders more quickly, accurately, and cost-effectively. In 2009, we purchased Holochrome, the premier domestic manufacturer of socket head fasteners, adding a new dimension to our manufacturing capabilities. And by 2010, we had reclaimed the ground we had lost during the recession and were back on the path to growth. In 2011, we invested aggressively in our vending support operations, better known as the machine behind the machine, adding build centers across the country, dozens of fast solution specialists, and more than 150 personnel overall to support our vending customers. Another 2-for-1 stock split was executed in 2011. After 7 splits, a single share of stock purchased for $9 on the day of our IPO had become 96 shares, worth $4,186.56 at the close of 2011. The following year, we began implementation of T-Hub, an automated facility that communicates directly with the vending machines and proactively keeps machine-specific product flowing to the stores. And Lee Hine was named president of the company. Like Will Overton, Lee began his Fastenal career many years earlier in an entry-level position. And like Will's, his rise exemplifies what Fastenal is all about, creating opportunities for the blue team. In a 5-year period marked by the worst economic downturn in more than a century, Fastenal still managed to add nearly $800 million in annual sales, more than 1,500 employees, and another 341 stores. What's next for Fastenal? Only time will tell. But 2 things are certain. First, the best ideas won't come from a boardroom or an executive office. As always, They'll come from Fastenal people, working in stores, in hubs, in trucks, in manufacturing, close to the customer or the job at hand. And second, if we continue to bring out and use the full potential of everyone on the blue team, in 25 years, we'll probably find ourselves asking the question we asked at the beginning of this video. How did we get here from all the way back there? The next chapters in Fastenal's story are waiting to be written, so let's make history.